As soon as we leave our compound, it's clear who is now in charge. Taliban fighters have flooded the capital. Smiling and victorious, they took this city of 6 million people in a matter of hours, barely firing a shot.
This is a sight I honestly thought I would never see. Scores of Taliban fighters, and just behind us, the U.S. Embassy compound.
Some carry American weapons. They tell us they're here to maintain law and order. Everything is under control. Everything will be fine, the commander says. Nobody should worry.
What's your message to America right now?
America already spent enough time in Afghanistan. They need to leave, he tells us. They already lost lots of lives and lots of money. People come up to them to pose for photographs.
They're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. It's utterly bizarre.
At the presidential palace, the Taliban are now guarding the gate. They say they're here to fill the vacuum left when the government fled. But the welcoming spirit only extends so far, and my presence soon creates tension.
It's because of you.
They've just told me to stand to the side because I'm a woman.
Outside, ordinary Afghans clamor to talk to us, struggling to process the dizzying speed of Kabul's fall.
Actually, I feel nothing right now. We want peace. We are tired of this ongoing war.
What does the future look like to you now?
You know, I cannot predict even in seconds right now, and I can't predict even minutes right now. So that's why I don't know what will happen tomorrow and what will happen after.
And that's really what it feels like on the ground. Honestly, John and Brianna, it's anyone's guess as to what the situation on the ground will look like in 2 hours, let alone 2 days, 2 months. And that profound sense of anxiety, I think you may not see it on the streets, but it's the people who aren't on the streets today that in some ways are the real story. The people that are hiding in their homes, who are petrified to go out, who are worried about being targeted, who fear for their lives, who are too scared to tell their stories, but their stories must be told because in this moment their fear and their desperation is so real, as we saw with those extraordinary images coming from the airport, that I don't think any of us will be able to forget anytime soon, John and Brianna.
Clarissa, talk more about that. Who is on the streets and who isn't? And what happens if someone does want to try to go to the airport at this point and get out?
So mainly on the street, I would say it's Taliban, and it's hard to show you, but they're literally everywhere. They're over there, they're over there, they're over there, they're everywhere. And that's how they're able to implement force, implement security, because people are so scared of them. No one is going to fight the Taliban. Then you also have some men on the streets. You have some kids. I have seen a few women, but I will say I have seen far fewer women than I would ordinarily see walking down the streets of Kabul. And the women that you do see walking down the streets of Kabul tend to be dressed more conservatively than they were when they were walking down the streets of Kabul yesterday. I've seen more burqas today than I had seen in a while. Obviously, I am dressed in a very different way to how I would normally dress to walk down the streets of Kabul. So there's a lot of children as well. I think they're more curious than anything else. And you know, it's important to remember as well, the Taliban does have, to many people, this bizarre sort of mystique, John. People are intrigued by them. Some people here genuinely see them as heroes. And so it's a very odd cocktail that you find on the streets of Kabul, with so many people hiding and other people peeking out to see what comes next, and nobody really knowing what on earth to expect.
We're understanding, you know, it's hard to see how those folks who are holed up can get out, even if they are perhaps, candidates for getting out, Clarissa. Some of them may qualify for P1 or P2 visas. I know personally of people who are awaiting status checks on those applications, and it appeared that they would be able to get out of Kabul, but now Kabul has fallen. It doesn't appear that there is a plan for the U.S. government to provide safe passage for many of those people from their homes where they're holed up to the airport. Can they get out without that, Clarissa?
The problem you have now, there's definitely no plan in place to try to evacuate these people safely, okay? The U.S. is really barely able to keep a hold on the situation at the airport right now, let alone trying to extend some kind of corridor for people to leave through. So that is simply out of the question. The other problem you have is that there's this crush of humanity descending on the airport. Vehicles clogging both lanes of traffic, scenes of people firing in the air to stop a sort of stampede almost. People have been shot by stray bullets. It's absolute pandemonium at the airport. And if you don't have your visa ready, if you don't have your passport ready, because a lot of people were trying to prepare for this moment, Brianna. We saw it yesterday, long lines outside the passport office, but no one imagined that it would happen this quickly, that they would have a matter of hours to pack up their lives, get together their paperwork, book a ticket, get to the airport. I mean, it's completely unfeasible for the vast majority of Afghans. And so they are now left in this desperate situation, petrified for their lives. They are being assured officially by the Taliban that there's a blanket amnesty, even for people who worked with the government, even for people who worked with security forces. But it doesn't take a genius to realize that for a lot of people, they're too scared to believe that. They have huge reservations. And so they are now hunkered down, waiting for more clarity, waiting for more guidance from the U.S. as to how their paperwork will be expedited, how they can get safely out of the country. And in this moment, there's not a huge amount of information coming through to them. So it's a desperate situation. And that's what you don't see on the streets. That's the story that's happening behind closed doors.
چې د دې نظام نه مخکې کېدی شي د خویندو یو څه د ترس احساس کو د دې نه وروسته بالکل د ترس احساس ونه کوي. تاسې د موږ خویندې، تاسې د موږ مورګانې، تاسې موږ د جامعه تاسې ته ضرورت لري، په تاسې د دې ملت پیسې خرڅ شوي دي، نو صرف د دغه اطمینان لپاره موږ راغلي یو. واخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمین.